Hi, I'm Pat and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about some things you may want to consider if you have to store your BMW i8. I recently received a question from a subscriber asking what my recommendations were if we had to store the BMW i8. At the time of this filming, we're in a global epidemic, and a lot of us are locked down, unable to drive this car. But let's say it's wintertime, or you live in a location that's separate from where you store your car. Well, I'm going to cover two main things you want to concern yourself with as you consider storing your BMW i8. Number one, the main issue with the i8 is battery conditioning. The BMW service manual tells BMW dealers that they should plug this car in every 6 weeks to top off the battery while it's sitting on the showroom floor waiting for sale. That tells me it's good advice for any owner. Make sure if you do have the ability to keep your car plugged in all the time, plug in the charger. That ensures that the battery's topped off all the time. However, if you don't have the ability to charge your car full time, plug it in, top it off, and then move it to wherever you can store it. If you use hold state of charge, and there's a link in the description to how to use hold state of charge, then you can drive the car in Comfort or Eco Pro mode between where you've just topped the battery off and the storage location, and it should ensure that the battery retains as much charge as possible. If you drive it in sport mode, it's actually going to use some of that power. The reason why you want to make sure that you maintain a high state of charge is that when this car sits for about a week, it loses about a mile or two of range. That means that something in this car is drawing power. One thing I'm very aware of is the 12-volt battery. The 12-volt battery in this car gets its charge from the high voltage battery. It does not have a typical alternator like a typical gas engine vehicle that would charge the battery. The way this works is the 12-volt battery provides power to the electrical machine electronics, and they control how much power is coming from the high voltage battery to charge the 12-volt battery. Well, why is the 12-volt battery there? Well, a few things. All your cabin electronics are powered from the 12-volt battery, but so is the ignition for the mid-engine, as well as your safety restraint systems, your airbags, and a few other things as well. But that 12-volt battery is required in order to provide the power when you hit that start-stop button to enable the car to turn on. Another thing we need to consider ourselves with is the mid-engine. Fuel's good for about 6 months before it oxidizes and starts to tarnish. This is bad on the entire fuel system, so we want to make sure that we try to keep that tank as full as possible to reduce the amount of oxygen in the tank, but also we want to use that engine. What does that mean? Well, every 6 months you should probably take the car out for a spin, 15 minutes minimum. If you just let it run for a minute or two and shut it off, you're creating condensation by warming up the air that's inside the crankcase, inside the exhaust system, etc. So you want to be able to run this engine for about 15 minutes and then turn it off. And then that way everything's brought up to operating temperature, it burns off any water that could be in the system, and it generally conditions everything to be back to normal again. If you're in a situation where you're locked down but you're allowed to get to the gas station, then take the car to the gas station and top it off. Even if you can only put 1/10 of a gallon of gas in it. That keeps this car conditioned and ready to drive when you finally can drive it anywhere you want. So those are the two main factors to consider, the battery and the mid-engine. For me, I can drive my BMW i8 right now, and I've actually moved it from one bay to another because I'm about ready to do a little work on it. So while I had it out, I made sure to start the engine and let it run for a while. That way, this car will stay in tip-top shape when I'm finally allowed to take it on the road. So if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment box below. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing and ringing that bell for notifications, as I'll be posting BMW i8 content often on this channel. Thanks for watching, and happy motoring!